Hello, my name is Max. Today on this channel, we're gonna practice a new expression. I'll try to implement it into my active speech. So, the expression for today is to saturate. Oftentimes, it is used, in passive voice, right? Like when we say that something is oversaturated, for instance. So the way we're going to do it is this. I have a number of hot takes that I can expand on, that I can elaborate on. So I'll read each and every one of these hot takes and I'll try to articulate, you know, some kind of an opinion, right? Even though I'm not particularly equipped to give you something like really riveting, enthralling, and less like cliched and corny, I'll still at least like attempt to do that. It's a nice way to practice, and I reckon it's like the most viable option when it comes to baking in a new expression, and yeah, like it just makes it easier for like whenever you employ it, whenever you try to utilize it, quite frequently, it's easier for your brain to cotton onto it. Do you know what I mean? I hope you do, by the way. So the trend of AI generated content threatens to saturate the internet, diluting genuine originality and creativity. Um, I do believe that partly it is true, and the AI is getting like better and better at it, right? Like the internet is already oversaturated with AI generated videos, you know photos, articles, you name it, right? Like they're being kind of like scattered across different platforms, and naturally it kind of like whittles away or chips away at the originality, genuine originality and creativity that the internet was essentially full of, right? Um, so yeah, like this balance is kind of like it is getting like shifted more and more in favor of AI, and you can probably chalk it up to just profitability, right? If you juxtapose, what would you say, like the costs of production of a video, which is AI generated, and the one that is normally like edited, recorded by a human being, there is a world of difference between them. Both in terms of time and money. So it shouldn't come as a shocker that people kind of like try to optimize like literally everything, and AI generated videos tend to come out on top. Even like the video that I'm recording at the moment, right? Like where I try to, you know, produce something that might, be like both like beneficial for me and for people who are watching it. Still, like the problem is like more or less the same. Like why would yeah, like I don't know, like it's difficult, right? But yeah, like I myself, sometimes just wind up watching a lot of AI generated videos, especially like manga recaps, right? Like I mean, they tend to be quite like scrappy and sketchy, but at the same time, I understand that for a person to do a voiceover, it would take like a lot more time. um, yeah, we will see. We will see. But we as human beings are fickle creatures, right? Like maybe I, just advances like far enough that we won't even be able to see any kind of difference between an AI generated video and the one produced by a human being, right? Like I recently, I recently came across this, what would you say, like this AI powered app, like just created by Google, that generates like podcasts based on the information that kind of like that you provided to. And yeah, like I mean, uh, purely in terms of like intonation, rhythm, like pauses, like everything sounds like more or less genuine. So yeah, I mean, situations like this, they actually make you think twice about like even starting to record anything. But at any rate, Brent's the second hot take that we're going to elaborate on is this. Brands that saturate social media feeds with relentless advertising risk alienating the very audiences they're trying to attract. Um, Once again, like you can probably put this strategy down to profitability. The fact that a lot of websites, not just social media per se, are oversaturated with gambling ads and things of that nature. It kind of like goes to show that even though there is a risk of alienating the very audiences that they're trying to attract, it is still a nice way to drum up, interest from potential customers, so to say. And yeah, like this incessant advertising that we're being, that is, that saturates social media. It still probably proves to it probably proved to be quite a viable option, and that's why like they still end up you know utilizing and adopting the kinds of strategies that are so annoying, right? Yeah, but so okay, second hot take. Third one, as remote work options expand, major cities will inevitably saturate their markets with co-working spaces, driving a new wave of overhead minimalism. Um, I'm not a fan of like co-working spaces, right? Like they're just like criminally like overvalued, right? Like I was looking up the prices, and it turned out that the price is more or less the same as like just like literally like renting some kind of a table for yourself is akin to renting in renting a one bedroom apartment, and it doesn't make any sense. Like it's just an overkill, right? Like maybe it's just my city, but I don't think that as remote work options expand, major cities will inevitably saturate their markets with co-working spaces, because I don't think that there is demand for them in the first place. Diet trends often saturate the wellness market with quick fixer promises rather than sustainable health advice. Those are the very like clickbaity, what would you say, like promises that tend to, garner a lot of attention, right? Like those are the videos that tend to gain a huge deal of traction, right? You can probably once again like attribute it to our susceptibility to this to the promise of this quick fixes, right? Like we're all looking for this magic bullet solution, right? And that's why uh, uh, and it's kind of like this susceptibility or proclivity is what galvanizes all of this influences, right? Like what operate in wellness market to kind of like saturate the entire industry with this unsustainable health advice. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's kind of like the crux of the issue, in my opinion. But, you're free to disagree. So, that was basically it. The word for today was to saturate, and the reason why I chose it, is primarily down to the fact that I'm trying to get better at pronouncing things, And one of the things that I'm really, just utterly inept at is rhythm. Like English rhythm is the one thing that I find difficult to wrap my mind around, right? So, there is this thing with short sounds called reinforcement glottal stop, and it's just this hiccup that you probably just that natives, unbeknownst to them, do or make or whatever, right? Um, it just happens, right? Like it's a hiccup that occurs when natives, but in native speech, when you know th- when a word that is stressed has a short sound like it, o, a, uh, o, you name it, right? Which is followed by sounds like t, t, ch, k, and p, right? So, as in like upgrade, upgrade. So, had I like used this, had I not, you know, produced this hiccup, right? It would have been upgrade, 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 upgrade. But since I do like, since I did do it, it's like upgrade, 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 up, upgrade, update, right? Do you see what I don't know? Like hopefully here, like hopefully there is a difference. I'm still like trying to you know what would you say like adapt to this or adapt to this like new what would you say like habit, and it takes time. Probably it's gonna take me another month or so to finally latch onto it, but fingers crossed, touch wood, I'll be making some progress. But I wouldn't recommend you know frittering away so much of your time doing that. It's just like one of those like shenanigans that I fall victim to. Yeah, like, and in terms of like returns that that it might produce, the squeeze, what would you say, like the juice ain't worth the squeeze essentially.